Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on when you watch this video. But thank you so much for tuning in to this Motivational Monday. I pray that you're having a good day and that you had a good weekend. Today we're going to talk about being intentional about change, right? And I'm not going to be before you long because I just had this thought that I wanted to share with you. And it stems off of a question that I asked on yesterday. All right, I'm going to read you the question because it's kind of wordy, okay? So, what was your life like 5 years ago? I want you to think about it. Then I want you to ask yourself what your life looks like today. And I said a question, but these are a couple questions, okay? And if your life looks the same today as it did 5 years ago, that's a clear indicator that your life is going to look the same in 5 years because you haven't done anything different. So I was thinking about this on yesterday because I always ask people a question when I counsel them or I'm coaching them or I'm mentoring them or just talking in general. I ask people, where they see their life at in 5 years. And sometimes it's really hard for them to answer the question, or they say it, but then they don't think that it's possible for them to actually live that life that they see in the next 5 years. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, maybe I'll start the opposite when I start asking questions about people's life and where they see it at, because most of the time we're creatures of habit, and we repeat the same behavior over and over and over, and we wonder why we don't get where we want to get to in life, right? Or we're not having the results that we want to have. Well, you have to be intentional about changing your life to get the results that you want. When I ask myself this question, where do I see myself, what do I want my next 5 years to look like? And I answered the question and I thought about it and I prayed about it, and I was like, it's definitely possible for me to have it. But if I don't do anything different today than what I've been doing, I'm going to have the same thing, right? Everybody knows the saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting to get different results. It's like, you're going the wrong way, but you want something different, but you get the kind of I can't help it, right? And you keep doing the same thing, expecting things to change, but that's insane, right? And I lived personally an insane life long enough. And I've made a decision to change my life and live the best possible life that I can, and actually embrace my future and not be afraid of it. So I wanted to jog your thinking. I want you to answer the questions, right? The first question is, what was your life like 5 years ago? And when I go back 5 years ago, my life wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best, right? And when I think about where I'm at today, I'm in a whole different place. I'm in a different mindset. I'm literally living my best life today. 5 years ago, I could not say that was the case. And so I know that my future looks bright because I've taken the initiative and I've taken my life into my own hands so that I can have the future that I want to have, right? So I had to become intentional about getting up every morning, mastering my mornings, doing my morning routine, getting up, praying, reading my Bible, studying, preparing myself for the day, preparing myself for life, getting myself to the place where I can actually start doing the things that I really want to do. And 5 years ago, I was working in the mental health field. Even last year, I was working in the mental health field, and I was like, I'm like over this. Like, I want to do something different. I want to work for myself and have all these things that I just want to do. And I made a declaration that I wasn't going to be at that job in 1 year. And when I made that declaration, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I started being intentional about looking and doing other different things and working my business and all these different things. Well, the long story short is I'm not at that job. I'm actually working from home, able to work my business, starting my coaching business, that's thriving, right? But I had to become intentional about change. So I know that if I continue doing what I'm doing today, my next 5 years are going to look amazing, right? So if you're not happy with where your life is at right now, you have the power to change your future. You cannot go back and change your past. You cannot change yesterday, but you can change tomorrow by changing today, right? If you want something different, you have to do something different. I know people that watch this video, one, you've heard that before. Two, you might not believe it because it might seem far-fetched and it might seem unrealistic, but I'm telling you, you can do it. All right. This literally came to me as I was writing this up this morning on what to say. Don't sabotage your future because of fear of change. That is powerful. We sabotage our own life 99.9% of the time because we fear change. It's because, listen, if we want something different, we're going to have to embrace the change that's going to come with the different, right? Think about last year in March, 1 year ago, the country shut down. We've been in the house. Some people lost their jobs. So we had to embrace the change. So don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid to take the chance. Don't be afraid to take the risk. Don't be afraid to do what you've never done before. Because if you don't, you can't ever have what you've never had. You'll always get what you got or what you have because you're doing the same thing you've been doing. The last thing that I want to say to you today is to be intentional about thinking about the questions that I ask you, being clear on what you want and embracing it and just doing it. Don't be afraid to be who you were called to be, because that person is an amazing person. You just have to fall in love with him and or her, right? Because God made you and he made you unique. So I just wanted to jog your mind today. I want you to think about where your life was, where it is today, and what it's going to look like in the future if you don't make the necessary changes to change from where you are to where you want to be. I love you. God bless you, and may heaven smile upon you is my prayer. Have an amazing day. Bye.